Hello everyone and welcome back to another Thursday stream. It's your friendly neighbor Luka, and this isn't just any old weekly Thursday live stream. It is our World's End Table Talks podcast. That's a bit of a mouthful. Anyways, how is everyone doing? I feel like it's only been a week, but I feel like it's been a lot longer than that for some odd reason. But yeah, as you can see, this is our bi-monthly podcast show where we like to invite some of our guest influencers to give us their opinions on different in-game topics. And if you haven't already seen from the title, I feel like we have a pretty stacked lineup, though I feel like every time we have this podcast, we always have such an amazing lineup of guests. And, instead of having me talk about them, let's have them introduce themselves. Thank you so much for coming on by. If you could, please introduce yourself to the stream, starting with Car.
Sure. Guys, Luka just confirmed that this is the best cast they've ever had, so honored to be here. Car 6 guys, lover of Luna, collabs, and limited off-banner artifacts, and glad to be here.
Yeah, and hello to everybody. My name's Divineshadow, your favorite homeless content creator, and I'm just so happy to be here, joined by Car and Jenna, your future casters for the E7 World Cup. Give them a round of applause. They're going to do some of my favorite boys slamming that down, and hope to have a good time with all of you.
Wait, were you supposed to say that? Anyways, I'm Jenazad. I stream a bunch and heckin' love E7. Yay, I guess.
Well, once again, thank you so much for making time for us. I really do appreciate it. And we have a pretty long list of topics that I do want to talk about today. So let's just go right in and start with PvE. And the first thing I want to talk about is the Midsummer Paradise side story. I know there's probably a lot of comments and opinions that we want to say about it, but first things first, I do want to ask you, what was your favorite part from the event? And we can start with Jenna.
The best part of the event is it's just better than regular events and it's better than hunting. It's basically just a combination of both, and I think everyone was really happy by the gear they were getting. New players, old players, everyone. I think it was great.
Yeah, I agree with Jenna. I've talked about this before, but I'm a big fan of narrative design. I'm a developer myself, and I love when I can have the same feelings as the characters in game. And while everybody in Epic 7 was on vacation, we were on vacation because there was no need to think. There was no need to really do anything. You launched the game, you went on the event, you grinded your gear, you rolled it in front of your pals, and then that was it. It was a straight month. It was easy. I loved it.
Yeah, brought us some of the best characters we've seen, both Luka and Lethe. It was amazing for gear. There's two problems I have with it. I don't know if we're going to venture there yet, but one of the glaring issues, obviously the imprint stuff, and then second, they kind of spoiled just normal hunts now because it was so good resource-wise. Red gear drops was insane.
Oh yeah. I mean, this wasn't really on the list, but I do want to ask, how many pieces of gear do you feel like you got that you're like, ooh, yes, because I know I got a handful.
I like that they added a tracker. Did you count the amount, Luka? How many things you bought with the currency?
No, I wasn't paying attention.
I think I hit 100 on both, easily.
Yeah, I hit 50 on the first. I hit 120 on the second. So a normal gear event, I'll get one piece of gear that's really good. A normal hunt event. This time, I got 4, which is 3 more. If you
I think I got 0 out of 100 both times.
I think
you got 0.
0 good pieces, yeah.
I think I crafted like 260, 270 total or something, and
wow.
I felt
total.
like I got nothing, but I think I got like 2 all right pieces. I felt pretty scammed. I'm gonna be real.
Dang.
I got unlucky.
Well, I mean, when you're at that level, I guess you got to be a little bit more picky.
I wasn't even being picky. That's the worst part. I was like, anything, give me a crumb, and they were like, nope.
Yeah, same.
Torrent health piece. Okay.
You guys just got your standards too high. I'll just say it. I got a penta roll speed piece. It was 21 speed penta roll, but it was still.
What do you mean your standards
above.
are too high and then you're remaining that? Like, I would have killed a man for 18 speed.
I'm just 21 speed is low in your world. I mean, I'm next to Car. This guy lives in a race car. He's named after a car himself, right? So you guys have higher standards. I'm just trying to keep up the best I can, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's fair. And Divine, I think you touched on this a little bit, but what are your thoughts on this style of side story where you go through the entire story itself before you kind of get to the grinding and the farming portion? So, for the people, our lore heads, you have just straight lore, and then you can go into the farming after. What are your thoughts on that kind of style?
Yeah. I've been talking with some of my friends about it, but I really like the new style because, as someone who cares about narrative like me, there was always a dissonance in E7 stories where it was just like, heart-wrenching story, or maybe there was something about, finding about somebody's insecurities, developing somebody's character, maybe somebody's parents got shot in an alleyway, all these important events, and then it suddenly cuts to my Rylet just S1ing something like 8 times over, and I feel that disconnect, and I come back 10 minutes later after I finished autoing the fight, and I'm back in the story. So now that we've removed the barriers between the two, I think it works out really better. I don't think it's the best system it can be. I still think there are improvements to be made, but definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I heard that Batman reference. I loved. It was so good for story skippers out there like me. Get straight to the point. And then even if you did want to check the story too, you could go back and review the cutscenes. It was beautiful. The only bad thing, once again, is that I want every event now to be like this.
Yeah. It's actually really, really well done overall. Of course, it wasn't perfect. There are a couple things that we could talk about. But it's just amazing not having a bunch of 8 AP useless battles with story in between. Always feels kind of like a pain. And you just get to clear out the story, and then you just mindlessly farm. It's amazing. That's all we want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will say I am a little surprised that, maybe it's because you guys are thinking about the community, but even though you didn't really get any pieces from this event, you still said it was the best.
Because we don't get gear from hunts either, Luka, so we might
Yeah,
as well
I
get
don't get
more
anything.
gear. It's more chances even if we don't get anything.
It was honestly, this event was just like watch guild chat and watch everybody better than you post up their perfect pieces, and just go, yes, I acknowledge. My friends are having fun, so I'm having fun, right?
Right, Ivan, I'm pretty
Smile.
sure I saw you in our guild chat showing some gear off where I didn't get anything.
I don't know what you're talking about, Card. Come on. Don't lie on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So, moving on to the next question. Improvements. What kind of improvements would you like to see in future side stories like this?
I feel like we kind of lost a little fire, right, boys? We were practicing and we kind of already got into it. It got a little heated. But
Yeah.
I think the big thing, of course, is imprints, right? We should start there.
You want to see heated? Oh, man.
Got to stand up, get in the
Jenna,
game
go in and I'll
pose.
match it. But yeah, I think just the imprints, obviously, not a good look. It got better with Lethe, but the event was amazing. If anyone was unclear, I like the event, guys, with the exception of the whale-friendly imprint situation.
Yeah, I think that the imprint thing was kind of a bad look. Obviously, the first part of the event was really bad and people were having a huge trouble with it. But the second part, I think, was totally fine and the imprints didn't really matter. And I don't think really anyone had an issue with that. But more importantly for me, I think that a bigger issue with the overall design of the event is just the artifacts and the fact that you get a huge disparity between having a max version of +30 of the artifact and just 1 or 0 of it. And I know a lot of people will say, okay, well, every event's always worked that way. But the thing is, every single event was not an unlimited gear farm where you're dumping hundreds of thousands of energy to try and get gear. So I think it's a really different scenario, and I would just like to see the gap reduced a little bit. So it's like, if you have a maxed artifact, you only get 20% increased currency or something, and then they raise the base rate for everybody. Something like that.
Yeah, obviously, I agree with everyone else here. I'm a man who lives his life by very simple rules, and one of those rules is the quicker Tristan Wolf makes a video about PvE content, the harder that content was, right? So when I saw 3 hours in, there was a video up on clearing that side story, I was like, okay, I'm not touching this for at least a little bit. I'm going to take the day off, right? But that's one of the problems, and I think this really goes to a little bit more of a core problem. I didn't get to talk about this earlier, but I just feel like this event and its mechanics a little bit came out of nowhere for people. Same thing with the leaf situation. If you had spent your time doing your expeditions at the beginning of the month, you were a lot better off than other players because you did not want to spend energy on anything else once that event started up. And I feel like if there was just a bit more transparency, a little bit more of a heads up so that players can make smarter decisions, it'll make the game feel a lot better. And I'm always for that transparency. And that's what I want to see a little bit more, I guess, going forward.
Yeah, those expos were rough. If you wait till the last day of the month like I do, man, no one was doing them. But no, I agree with both my castmates. I never fight about anything on this, right, boys? Agree with everything I just
Absolutely
said.
not. Definitely didn't
So
put me in a
peaceful.
4-finger lock. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people in chat saying they want to get friendship, or they want to be able to friendship farm while doing this too. So no.
Especially
down?
since we got a friendship already during the event. Or was that XP1?
Woo.
No, it was XP1 actually.
Oh yeah, the panda.
The panda. It was a cute panda.
It does feel bad. I don't know if they go out of their way to remove the friendship portion of that. I imagine they would, but it's like such a minuscule thing that just, it's more for like the players' benefit and just feeling good about the event to let them friendship farm. So yeah, I would love to see that in the future.
It's just a really random thing. Like maybe the way they coded it or something just happens to not give that. I'm not really entirely sure why it works that way, but
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not a dev, so I can't give you insight on that. But that's what I would assume.
now.
Right? That's what I would assume. So moving on to the next topic, we are going to be talking about the Forge Your Epic Gear event. We are on the second part now, where you get to craft your right side gear. Yeah. So my question to you is, what equipment set did you choose, and then what stats did you choose for your gear this time?
Who wants to start?
I could actually field this one, actually.
Okay, go.
Right over here is my necklace for my Captain Landy. At least I would have one. If I had Captain Landy, I don't have her yet, so I've just kind of just been putting my points into the event thus far, because you can refund at any point. If I get Landy or if I do not get Landy, that'll change my decision. So if I do get Landy, it'll be probably a piece of gear for her on that. Might do pen set, probably counter set. My counter set is trash. I'm addicted to Wyvern. Otherwise, might be looking into shoring up one of my core DPS units, and we'll talk about that later when we talk about PvP, because I got some interesting thoughts about that.
I'm making a attack percent right side speed set ring, just maximum speed and maximum crit chance. That's it. With flat attack on it too, just
So
as
original.
much
Oh.
damage possible. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
like,
wait,
you
the
need to
flat
be
attack, though, was
original on this
actually-
event. I'm actually making a flat health main stab.
Let me hear
boost.
revenge set. Revenge set. Something like that. No, I'm the same. I'm probably gonna. So left side I chose. I think pen set, 17 speed, max crit. Right side I'm waiting, because it took forever for this to come out. So I don't know who I want to use it on yet. If I want to make like something for Landy, but the safe bet is probably speeder pen, ring, attack percent, and then 17 speed, obviously.
Yeah, there seems to be two general minds where it's just like get the piece of gear that can go on everybody, right? The attack ring, the crit damage neck, and then sometimes it's just like get the highly specialized piece, right? Like I know a friend of mine is going for his lifesteal rider crowd piece right now. You know, that
that's
makes
actually-
sense, right?
That's kind of sick.
That's fair. One thing to note, remember when you are upgrading your stats, you have to do it day by day, okay? So make sure to calculate that you have enough days to be able to do everything, because the first part of the event, I almost wasn't able to make it. I had 1 day of buffer, because in my head I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do everything near the end, because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. And then I forgot who I was talking to. They're like, you have to do it day by day, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. Fortunately, I made it with 1 day to spare, but I just don't want people in chat to make the same mistake that I did. So I'm just bringing it up again.
Please
Okay.
craft that piece.
It's a good
multiple
PSA.
people not doing it, please.
Yeah.
It's like all the people who didn't get the last year's ring for E7 World Cup. It's the same thing. It's like, please do not make this mistake.
Yeah.
So Luka's the reason it took so long for the second part to come out. I
Yeah,
see.
they were waiting for her.
Well, she had to personally do testing herself. They were like, all right.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta make sure, gotta get out all the kinks, right? But yeah. So, what would the ultimate piece of perfect gear look like for you? Like if legit you could have all of the perfect stats that you want on one piece, no restrictions, right? Out of, just the normal, you get 5.
I mean, isn't this
Roll
pretty
5 times,
easy?
you know?
Just get a 34 speed
34 speed,
ring or
yeah.
something, like
I was about to say we could all say it at once, right? 34 speed.
No, I
go
don't.
to
You guys
sleep
can have
thinking
those.
about it.
I want 50% HP.
that's actually biggest waste in history, right there.
Hey, don't judge me.
Okay, but what are your other
We
stats?
just told you off stream that everyone's feelings are valid. So
He's
You know what?
Leafy's
Now
not
it's
No,
fine.
that is not valid. No one would take that.
I'm taking it, dude. I'm passing 30 speed. Look, Smallgate, send me a 30 speed. I'll delete it on stream.
All right, how about
Give me a
34
50.
speed boots?
34 speed boots is a curse. If you get that on your account, it's because some malignant entity in this world hates you. That's the only reason you could explain that.
Oh, it's like the ultimate perfect piece, but it's X. So
Yeah, the monkey's paw.
It's the monkey's paw, yeah.
That's
Perfect
fair.
piece, but its main status flat.
And Carr's only ignoring the 34 speed piece because, as I said before, he's already fast enough. So once you're going at those kind of rocket speeds, I mean, what do you even care, right?
Straight lying to the people right now.
Well,
Divine.
Car, you literally, if you had a 34 speed piece, you would literally get like 14 more speed than what you have right now.
Yeah,
That's
guys,
basically
obviously-
you get, like 4 pieces of gear. That
Obviously, I'm trolling. But in all seriousness, like, just the speed chase is so it's just so it's so annoying. I just don't even bother
Yeah.
anymore.
That's fair. That is a very fair argument. So, yeah, okay, we have Divine and Jenna saying 34 speed. We have Car saying 50 HP. Okay, that's what their one perfect stat would look like. Chat. I know a lot of people were saying also 34, but do we have anyone else in chat who's like, no? Who cares about speed when I can also have 50 HP or, some other...
No one's with me.
If you say ER, by
stand
the way, you're
alone.
going on a list.
Oh,
Just say it straight up.
highest HP would be 56%. So...
Sure.
You're leaving 6% on the table, Car.
Listen, I'm not greedy.
Okay. I saw the end of your
Ooh,
stream
50%
before.
attack.
Shut up, dude.
Okay. Max flat defense.
There, that's
Okay, we said here everyone's feelings are valid. You can say whatever,
You said that. I
He
didn't say
loves
anything.
Rylet. He loves Rylet.
But yeah, I just thought it would be a little fun question just to see, hypotheticals. You never know. But yeah, so we're going to be moving on to our PvP topics now. This is going to be kind of the meat. This is where I think maybe some heat will come out, possibly. But yeah, so the very first thing I want to talk about is the World Arena season. We're currently in the Valorous season, I believe. You can fact check me. But how do you feel like this season has changed compared to the last season?
Well, I think that's funny you say changed because the only difference I see is Landy. This season, I don't think it feels too great. I think Landy was a really interesting addition to the game, for instance, but it's a lot of Mo Lilius, it's a lot of Last Strider Crow, it's a lot of Lua. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the similar kind of stuff, a lot of Solitario. Not feeling
Airwolf's
amazing
up there
about
too?
this season.
But because of Landy, Jenna, we see things like Kawazu, things we've never seen in a while. I mean,
Well,
it's
okay.
definitely not a good thing, but it is just like Landy, then who can pick like 5 Landy counters?
Captain
Yeah.
Landy put some people in desperation. Like I saw the day 1 ML Ken coming back out, and I was like, people are. It's if you,
Yeah,
you
ML
pull this
Ken.
unit or you don't. ML Ken, Rowana, a lot of those units. I, I think there was an interesting bit. It's still viable, but there was an interesting bit a while ago where like, and we'll talk about it obviously later, where like ML Rowana was getting some good play, and I like seeing that. And I do think on a more on a more basic level, there's a lot of like more distinct combos coming out. Obviously when we casted those tournaments, guys, like there was a lot of things there where you would say like people go Payra DJB, right? But there's more combo picks coming out now. I think people are experimenting with those more. I think it's certainly interesting. I've seen some Trozet and like people who want that defense buff a lot coming out now. So possibly might try that with my Lionheart Sermia as well. But Arya is also a good candidate, as well as during me and Valk's tournament the other day, we saw Shadow Knight Pillis 1v1 an Aravi and win it with the Rocket Punch Gauntlet. So some stuff going on. Yeah, some stuff going on.
Okay, but let me just bring something up with that. Sorry. I think the reason why it won is because of something that's not so great this season, and it's the Frenzy. I think the Frenzy this season is really bad. Like, really, really bad. Just after like 5 turns pass or whatever, already tanks have lost like 2,000 to 3,000 health. Like, immediately. It feels like you lose so much health and stats so fast, the match is so accelerated, it's kind of crazy. Like, I really think that the Frenzy needs a change. I really dislike how they did it. You lose so many stats so quickly.
Yeah, especially because I think these are the rules we're going into E7 World Cup with as well, right?
Yes.
So it feels a little bit weird, especially because most other games will like usually let their rules sit for a bit when their big tournaments are upcoming, but it feels like this was a very big change to be going into the World Cup with. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's kind of interesting that I saw a comment saying that it feels like the matches are a lot, have kind of slowed down in a sense, right? Because you have to be going to the later frenzies in order to get down to a lot lower of a HP percent. But before, I feel like I was seeing people saying, no, the games are getting so much faster. It's being a lot more aggro cleave orientated again with like the patches from the balance patches prior to this most recent one, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So do you feel like with now that people have been playing with the frenzy a little bit more, like deeper into the season, with the addition of ML Landy, that it's kind of changing again?
Which part are you at? Like, is it still cleave aggro oriented? I think Landy stops a lot of just compositions on her own.
Yeah, someone was saying it feels like it's slowed down. And up until maybe a few weeks ago, I want to say people were saying, it's getting too fast, it's getting too aggro, like I can't keep up because of the changes to like LRK and like from those balance patches. They're like, this game is getting too fast, I can't keep up, what can I do sort of thing.
Well, I think that before Landy, there were like only 3 ways I saw people play. It was standard, and it was Solitaria versus somebody with 3 cleansers.
Yeah, Solitaria was strong.
It was somebody picking Zio Aiden as their first 2 picks, or somebody playing aggro. And that's basically all I saw on the ladder, and I was the guy picking Solitaria. Every time my opponent picked like 2 slow units, I was like, sucker, and then I immediately bring out Solitaria and Death Dealer Ray. But like, if I didn't do it, they did it, so it was a necessary evil. But it felt like it was really, really, really aggro, and then anytime it wasn't aggressive, it was just debuff city. That's kind of how it felt to me.
Yeah, like most of my life, I have the privilege to be around people far smarter than me. These guys, Carr, obviously, Valk, Sue, Jenna, and from what I see, I think Cleave is totally viable, but like I get away with it at the lower straights, at the lower ranks of RTA, but I just feel like, and from what I've heard, the higher and higher up you've gone, and I've commentated these matches, the harder it is just to get away with that stuff, especially because you don't want to pick your DPS units too early, because obviously those are the ones most vulnerable to getting counterpicked, and a lot of the strong units right now are just your support types, right? Your tanks and your supports that are going to be able to hold down the line, obviously.
Yeah, a character's overpowered when people pick them in the first pick and they're a DPS, right?
Yeah, and they also can pre-ban units around it too.
Yeah, you know a character's strong when they are the exception to the rule fundamentally. That's across any game.
It would have been interesting to see where the meta was going, because like Jenna mentioned, the standard play was like super heavy control with Sharoon, Solitaire, DDR, and then Landy kind of now has shifted things again, and we're sort of just is Landy pre-banned? If she's not, then it's just who picks Landy, then who has
Yeah.
counters for her.
Well, Landy has introduced a new type of game where one person picks Landy and the other person has to pick a whole team just countering Landy, and so it's a new play style, basically, the anti-Landy.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, I feel like there's a little bit of an overflow going where there was like there's a lot of units that felt necessary to pre-ban, you know, regardless of the composition you ran, and Landy definitely added to the table for some people. We obviously had Lua, you know, Red will never forgive AOL for what she did to his family, and other units like that are like at the top of the list for a lot of people. I think Landy might have overfilled the cup per se for some players.
Yeah, I played about 800 games of pre-banning Angel of Light, and the only time I have removed that is when I'm second pick, I ban Landy instead now.
Yeah.
Is Lua your other one or Silius?
See Lilius a lot of the time. Or
So to answer your question, Luka, on the history and balance playstyles, the answer is Landy.
True. I can totally say. You know, it's really funny though. So, as of right now, I haven't played any World Arena, but I have been playing Arena, just normal flag Arena, and I have gained the most amount of points playing against defense teams with Landy, because my current Arena team, whenever I see like a ML Landy, I go Rowana, a Ravi, Alencia, and like a flex between Lethe or like ML Sermia or one other pick I cannot remember right now. And sometimes those matches are really long, but it works out. It just I have gained over, I think, 300 points.
I actually have Landy on my defense team right now, and a surprising amount of wins. That's the weird part. But...
I was gonna say I just want to put up the white flag for poor old Green Landy, because I mean throughout this conversation, yeah, that's it, right? Like I noticed it at some point where like we're not even saying ML Landy, it's just Landy. Landy's overtaken. ML Landy is Landy now. Yeah. What you were saying, Jenna?
Well, I was just gonna say that I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think ML Landy is kind of overpowered. I think she's kind of frustrating to a lot of people.
Hot takes, man.
Steaming hot, the hot off the presses. Now, this is like the coldest possible thing ever. I would say probably a lot of people kind of agree with this. I'm the kind of guy who characters I like are either the worst things ever or completely overpowered, because most characters I like top model Luka, are just bad, but then I'm like, oh, I hope Lua's really good. Whoops, guess I screwed that one up. Oh, I hope Landy's really good. Uh-oh. So it's a little bit unfortunate how good those two units are, but I think that Landy is kind of not great for the game. I think that she's very frustrating to fight. I think she's not a very good design decision out of Smog8 either. I mean, her looks and voice and everything are amazing, but I think making characters where it's just 70% chance where I don't really take damage, I think that's a little not good. And Landy's so frustrating because I've had games where I picked what I thought was almost a perfect team, and then she Elbrist 3 times in a row and killed my whole team instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think anyone will disagree that she's not overpowered. But I guess I had an interesting question asked to me, and that is, Jenna, do you think Landy is the same level as like when Hua Young was released? Because she was.
Everybody loves to compare every single thing to Hua Young, basically.
Well, because she's the one that set a precedent, right? She's the only character to get nerfed in our no nerf meta.
Here's what I will say. I think that she is worse designed than Hua Young, because Hua Young just needed a small bounce change to be in line, essentially. But she was.
They gutted her.
Yeah, she was relatively normal and made sense, though. But Landy is all RNG. That's the problem, I think. Hua Young, you knew you were dead. Landy, you might be dead. You might not be. Neither player really knows. It's a toss-up. And, it's easier to balance the character, I think, that you know you're dead and just tone them down a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like another thing is that we're also adding to the bucket list of units that fit that category, right? Is Belian going to wake up? Is Shu going to wake up? Is ML Landy now on that list of units that I have to say, oh, they woke up, I guess, sad day for me, right?
Well, boys, when you're not going first, that's kind of what you a lot of times have to rely on, right? To get out of turn activations.
I would say a lot of the time, if you rely only on random counterattacks, you're probably getting
Not
by Cleave.
not only, but that's one of the bigger strengths. Yeah, when you're building a unit that's not meant to like be super fast.
Well, the thing about Landy that I really like, though, that I think is really cool, is she's one of the only DPS that survives Aiden, Apocalypse Ravi, and Spectre Tenebria, and debuffers. So basically, every other DPS, when you pick them, the opponent's just going to pick like 2 hard counters to them, and then you're screwed. But Landy's like the only one that you pick, and you're like, oh, I feel safe against Cleave, I feel safe against aggro, I feel safe against a lot of other DPS and debuffs, and they're like the only character that can do that. You don't just get stunned by Arrowell, you don't just get killed by Aiden, A, Ravi, Spectre, Tenebria every single game. You feel actually safe.
Yeah, I agree to that. I just don't like the argument that RNG is bad because the whole game is RNG.
Okay, but like increasing the RNG isn't good. Like you could make a character whose passive was it's a 50% chance you win the game, 50% chance you lose the game. It's perfectly balanced. But...
No, sure. It's just it brings it back to what you said at the start, and that's you either make a unit too strong or they're usually too weak, right? It's really hard to find that perfect spot. I think I can only name a few units that are like pretty balanced.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's as hard as it sounds. Like you make Emma Landy.
Well,
like, okay,
with the track record, Jenna, maybe you need to be in charge of designing them because it's apparently really hard.
You know, if I tested a character and I was like, her S3 one-shot a whole team while built as a tank and they couldn't hit her. Okay, maybe let's just release it. Like I don't know about that one, right?
I mean, I think it comes down to the classic thing, with Smilegate and Epic 7 being what it is. With nerfs not exactly an option that Smilegate is willing to reach out 100% of the time, you always want to hit the mark as close as you can, maybe undersell a bit, but of course there is a feeling that with the character that's as hotly anticipated as ML Landy, it's hard, I guess, in some aspects not to give in to over-tuning her a little bit to make her a people pleaser when she releases. I mean, like, I've heard about natural disasters upcoming less than I've heard about ML Landy's release. That's how much people are talking about, like, this is this hype unit, this is what I'm excited for.
It's a skin, guys.
This is it. Yeah.
What are we talking
about? Talking about Landy.
The skin? The
Candy,
skin part?
Yeah, the skin.
Well, I mean, in a way where it's like balance, no matter which way we go, right, there's always going to be something talked about, right? And I mean, as we talk about units, I do want to move on to the next topic, and it is going to be about the kind of like newly released units that includes Requiem Rowana, Ocean Breeze Luluka, Lethe, and I mean, I feel like we had a lot to talk about ML Landy. So for now, we'll talk about those 3 units, and in the sense of what were your first impressions when you saw them in their teaser, and then your current impressions of them now that they have been released for a little while now, gotten to test them, play them. What are your thoughts?
I think I speak for everyone when I say the first thoughts we had was Awooga. But, like, I think all 3 of them are... I mean, okay, Ocean Breeze Luka, I think really well-designed character. Actually really cool and pretty fair, I think.
Awooga.
Leafy, really well-designed character and super cool. And...
Mega Awooga.
Requiem Rowana is Omega Whale character, and she's balanced for whale speed players, but she's bad for everybody else. But
Luluka amazing, Lethe amazing, Requiem Rowana I think is okay, but like she's better than Kayron, so there's that. I think that some of the MLs definitely need to be looked at, but yeah, in terms of the summer ones, love them, some of the best.
Yeah, admittedly, I am a bit of a psychopath, and my focus is always on the narrative and the story of these characters. And I just got to be honest with you, with ML Rowana, I was kind of hitting my limit where I was just like, we just keep making like the ML version edgy. Like it's just like the darker, the edgy version, especially with the girls. It's you've got Briar Witch, you've got her. Meteor Quirk was already kind of edgy, and then like he got his skin that made him even edgier after a point.
All the guys
right?
are edgy though. Like look at Pavel, look at Rylet, look at
you aren't
Death
required
Ray.
in this world. Yeah. I'm just saying, I'd be happy with like you can't get an ML, but I'd be happy with ML Januda being like, I really do love and appreciate my family. I do my best.
Januda.
Januda.
Hey, listen, there's
Divine, it's time to let them know what your hobby was that you're doing after this.
Oh, please don't. We don't. I already have to sit with Valk, and for some reason, one of his tags is furry, and I feel like that's going to be on my report card at some point. I don't need this.
So, I mean, Jenna brought up a kind of a good point, or a point about Requiem Rawana, where if you have, it sounds like if you have the gear to use her, then, you know, she's not a bad unit, but then for everyone else, she's not a relatable unit, right?
Yeah, it's only a select few can make her look really good. Yeah.
The thing is, she's a character I know a lot of people really want buffs for her, and I completely understand. Like, I can't really even use Rana either. I don't even have her, but I wouldn't be able to really use her. But the thing is, it's like, she's a character that if they buff, she's going to be so completely broken on the high end, I think. But then at the low end, people will be able to use her, so they somehow have to find, like, redistribute her power and up it, like, a little bit in some way, but, like, I don't really think it's going to happen, and I think a straight up buff is either going to be bad and everyone's going to be disappointed, or she'll become completely broken and everyone's going to be, well, maybe either excited or pissed.
Oh, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Landy, right, Jenna? What we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, you see, the difference there is that, oh, let me just, as an aside, Landy has like 50 different mechanics, and she's kind of OP, so it's really easy to like tune one or two of those, or like balance
But that's
that, or
the
remove
problem,
a mechanic.
right?
But
They
Rawana
don't-
is just a simple S3, and
But they
then
can never
it does
revert it. They don't do nerfs.
Yeah, they don't. I'm saying before
it's hard to
release, if you test it for 2 seconds, you'll know.
Take
the
out one of the mechanics.
Yeah, you
yeah,
need
like
this-
if
It would
they
just be
remove this-
solved if they could just nerf things like lightly, like with Hua, if they didn't completely gut her kit. I would like to see like small nerfs here and there. I know that's a spicy topic. Not everyone's on board with that because people are going to complain. But I think that would solve a lot of issues, like making them way too strong. Obviously, they need to test better. But yeah, if we could scale them back slightly, I think that'd be for the best.
Well, I would say if you refuse to nerf characters, then you better test them more before they release. One or the other.
You got to hit the balancing out of the gate the first time you really hit it. And as I said earlier, to me, part of that comes into part with communication, right? I've published games before. No matter the amount of testing I do, once the game is in the hands of thousands of people, suddenly I'm finding a lot out about my game that I never knew before. And that's just like, that's one of the basic tenets of balancing. So I think maybe that could help a little bit. But until then, I think it's just going to be back to the old formula of, you know, what new unit is going to be the answer to this. And sometimes we don't get that answer. I
Yeah,
think
like all the
Conquer
answers
Lilius
to
is
MO Lilius.
I'm about to say, yeah, Conquer
Hello.
Lilius is a good example of that, yeah.
Pre-ban.
Moon Bunny, remember Moon Bunny was the
just
one?
ban them.
Oh god, please just remake Moon Bunny. She doesn't deserve this. Oh my god.
There's sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I just hear that voice line where
Think
she's
of
just
Moon
like,
Bunny?
no, I think of that one odd voice line where she's like, "Are you after my liver?" And I'm like,
Oh,
she's,
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
of I'm like, why did I have to hear that?
So, I mean, if you think about it, with the amount of units, the new units that get released, there is kind of a steady stream, right? That comes out. I feel like it's relatively often that we get, whether it's a new RGB or a ML unit, that if maybe those were spaced out a lot more, then do you think that would be enough time to like train? Because especially if you look at like this year, from like January up until now, I feel like we've had pretty much like almost a new unit every month, every other month, around there, whether it's an ML or an RGB unit. Yeah. And if you know, with character balancing is very difficult, I feel like, if you think about it, especially since when there's so many mechanics in the game where one thing could potentially break the game, right? And so they have to think about how does this interacting with each other work without breaking what's already there.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern, right? But I think a big solution to it would maybe be more balance patches. I think
Yes,
that we only get
100%.
6 balance patches a year. If you know, it's once every 2 months. And balance patches such as the most recent one is honestly kind of abysmal. Like the Ruel buff is one of the most out of touch buffs I've ever seen in my entire life. It makes literally no sense. The person who buffed them, they clearly don't understand the meta or the issues with the character whatsoever. Like it's very blatant, I would say.
Yeah, it was tone deaf. It was just filler.
Yeah,
They saw
exactly.
that people were saying Ruel needs a buff, so they looked at what they can do without impacting anything upcoming.
Yeah.
It's literally useless.
Also, it's also especially tone deaf, a good word for it, because like buffing restrict, debuffs are already all over the place. Like nobody is wanting more debuffs to be strong or anything like that. And it seems so tone deaf to buff a debuff, even if like maybe the debuff needed. It's just kind of like, okay, we're already getting debuffed to hell. Do we really need more? But I think it all kind of stems back to balance patches, because maybe characters such as Emo Lilius or these other characters could be a little more balanced if the overall power of some of these weaker characters are all getting upped. There's so many characters that are just terrible or just in the dumpster or just need little tweaks even, and we might not even know. Like look at a character like Sharon, right? She got a buff
God.
and she had an EE, and suddenly she's such an amazing, good unit that people are using everywhere, and she's very fair, right?
She's I don't know about fair, but yeah, she's very she's a problem.
Really?
on this
Are you
list.
sure?
No,
Well, anyways,
not
I think
at
they did a really good job with the character though, and so Spellgate shows that they can sometimes make characters like shine in the limelight and do a really good job with it. But sometimes they just put in literally no effort with someone like Ruel, and you're just like, what the hell are you doing? Or like you saw. Anyone remember the Silk and Haste buff that we just got? Who the hell?
Yeah,
are
they're
those
literally
characters?
just filler. It's
Yeah,
just
it's-
having to wait 8 weeks for every buff, and then you have filler patches. Like
Yeah,
that feels
exactly.
so
Like,
bad.
I think minimum 12 characters should get buffed to balance patch. I would say, and they
Either
should
that
be
or
buffs
increase the pace.
Yeah,
right?
every
Yeah,
One
or
the
increase
other.
the pace.
Increase the pace, yeah, at the same
Yeah,
time.
and I think what they should do is they should buff more characters, but they should also have a period of time, maybe a week or 2 weeks after, where they say we are allowed to remove or tweak those buffs that we added. And so as a warning, so they can try things out. People might hate them or disagree with them, and they'll be like, okay, we're going to scale it back a little bit, or maybe you guys don't like this. I think they should do something like that. Then nobody can complain about like, I spent my life savings on Emo Kawazu because you buffed him and then you reverted it or something like that, right? Like none of that will happen, and it will all be perfectly fine. That's how I see it.
Well, Jenna, as my
True
brother
and
on the
base.
West Coast, I think we're in complete agreement there. Some sort of future league or some kind of way for the community and Smilegate to join together, testing and looking at some of these changes without having to hard commit to things, right? Because at the end of the day,
PTR.
if we don't want to nerf, every character that gets released after a certain point is just a hard commitment, right? And that's not always going to be the healthiest thing for the game. And I also don't think it's the healthiest things for the players, because I think it puts a lot of pressure on them to always feel like they have to pull, to always get every artifact, to always get everything they can, because it might come back and it might or might not get buffed, right? I've seen you guys' video on the Guilty Gear collab, and like a lot of people are saying skip, but it's hard to say that completely, right?
Yeah, they might
Because
get
what
buffed,
if-
might get EE.
It's true. They
Mike,
buffed Jacko out of season at a weird
Yep.
time, right?
They buffed Jacko out of season. They buffed Milim, and they gave Milim an EE. Shuna's been getting some play from some very
To be
poverty-stricken
fair,
players.
Don't
that was
skip, but
during
good
their
luck.
banners,
Sure.
though.
Good
I'm
luck.
fine. I think it's perfectly fair to buff these units right before their banners. But if you buffed it after and it's like, wait 1 year, suckers, then that's messed up, right?
Yeah. But no, I'm actually talking more of the fact, like, say you couldn't play for like a month or something, you now don't have Milim EE. you don't
Divine,
have
you
12
mentioned
crit
artifacts,
chance.
right? So if we're gonna ask for
Yeah,
more
yeah.
balance patches, guys, can we get some limited off-banner help? Some kind of just
Oh,
luck.
please.
People that have triple S units but not a single artifact is insane, especially when we're gonna pump out 11 limiteds in a row. On top of that, more free unequips. Divine, take the floor. What else do we have?
We absolutely have a lot of things going on as I stall for a couple seconds using that
Oh,
casting
it's
training.
okay. No, I
was
got
giving-
you because we're going to be releasing the survey right now for everyone in chat. It is that time of the stream where we're going to release the survey. So make sure to fill it out to get your 3 leaps and 300k gold. So, right there, I got you while you stalling for time. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Guys, please fill that out and give your most,
Yay.
whatever you think you need most. I heard some people need more Mola. I want artifact help, more free and equips, whatever you guys think you need. Fill it out, please.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait. Thank you for saying it. Let me say this real quick. Please unequip forever, or at least every weekend. For
Yeah,
the
I
rest
was
of
saying
time.
start with weekends if
Please.
Smilegate wants to be, stingy. Start with every weekend, but yeah.
I would like to. I want to sit down and talk with a small gate employee who is in charge of this type of stuff and ask, why does this exist? I want an actual answer on like why the hell?
Well,
what is their justification for
Guild
this?
War,
I think your
but it's still
question's also
outdated.
fair, Jenna, because
They don't
there's a
even know
lot.
what Guild War is.
That's what I'm saying. It's
there's a-
outdated. It's not a good reason anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff fundamental to Epic 7 that's been changing recently. You know, we've seen some things we've never seen before. These many limited units back to back, these new events they've been trying out, these new systems. And I think it goes to show that, like, as the game grows, as the game gets older, we have to change some things that have been there for a while. And I could say that free unequip might be one of them, right? You know, I was listening to Tristan Wolf. He was talking about the fact that, like, there will almost soon be 300 unique characters in the game. What do you do with your inventory box at that point? There's a lot of questions, and some of the questions me and Carr pulled earlier, you know, ML Haste doesn't exist. I'm sorry about that. But, you know, we also talked about draft mode. I think we could have a fair conversation about draft mode. I love draft mode personally. Going to be hosting a tournament with Valky about it at the end of the month. But, like, we'd love to see some features like a ladder system, a mulligan for at some points during the draft. And I personally love to see some restricted draft modes, like callbacks to, like, all the characters only available in season 1 or only RGBs. You know, obviously once the pool is fleshed out a little bit. The artifact help that you were talking about, you know, we also kind of got to talk about the Guilty Gear banner as well, and it only being limited to 3 characters, so that it's going to put new players in kind of an awkward situation, because within a year of playing the game when I started, I was able to get every limited character, including collab. So I think not having that opportunity for new players now at this point is kind of a harsh blow. I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe not the biggest for PvE or PvP, but just, you know, in terms of excitement and feeling about the game. Yeah, and collecting. People love collecting. You don't know how many people I know just say, this is my collecting game, right? You know, some people have been talking obviously about MOLAs, you know, because once again, we've had these 10 limited characters coming back to back. So even if you do pull all of them, like, good luck with your MOLA situation. Modstone rolling, especially, I'm surprised we didn't talk about this. The new, I'm really just going on a tear, aren't I? The new currency, the reconversion stones, the ones that let you go back with equipment. I love that stuff. That's really good, but I feel like it's hard to spend a currency like that when we don't know when we're going to get more of it, or how to get more of it, or if we will get more of it, right? So I think it kind of hits the horde mentality a little bit, and especially for me, where, like, I've only used it once so far.
Don't worry, Divine. It's gonna be in the pack shop very soon.
It's gonna be on the pack shop.
Oh.
Yeah, that, and then last thing I'll really say before I stop my event. If there's one small change I could have, and I think it's perfectly doable, it's perfectly fine, shouldn't be no controversy. Just change the blue box in the guild store to an actual blue box. Don't have it give me a random gem. Just make it a real blue box. It'll help players. It'll help
Or
new
let
players.
us
Help everyone.
convert. Holy crap! I have like 100 of these stupid defense and Ephra stones. Please.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's everything. Unless, Car, obviously you want to talk about RTA shop, but I'll leave that to you.
No, there's just a lot of stuff we want. So hopefully the survey is taken into account, and we get some of the stuff we're asking for.
Yeah, and I mean, we are running a little low on time, so I'm going to be moving the topics forward in a little bit, and we are going to be moving into the non-gameplay, and this is going to be about the Tariff Island lobby that was up for grabs for 900 Sky Stones, I believe, and you got the lobby illustration along with leaves and skin tickets, and I would like to get, your thoughts if you had purchased it.
I skipped it. There's just we needed Skystone so badly in these past 2 months, and I just skin tickets also I think are kind of redundant. I think some free to plays can make great use of it, but the fact that the skins are time gated is kind of terrible. In the Epic Pass they give you skin tickets, but then you get the skin at the same time. I think it's good, but we just needed so many units that I had to make a choice there.
Yeah. There are certain terrors that keep me up at night, heralds of disasters, and Hoochie has long and late been one of those nightmares. He's always spelled doom and gloom in the future, a litany, even avarice-like fall of limited units, and so Hoochie plus this pack kind of. That's why I think we have these 10 limiteds back to back. I think their bad juju together is what's brought forth the current state. But, you know,
Yeah, always Hoochie, dude.
It's
Hoochie and
always
Cameron
Hoochie.
are the heralds of limited units.
You could literally just Photoshop Hoochie next to like any disaster, and I feel like that's just like and he was just there, and he was just like 50 Skystones,
I think the Terror of Island lobby pack was a test by Smallgate. I think it's great. I think it's completely cosmetic. I don't really think anyone can complain. 900 Skystones for it. I think it's fair. It actually came with a bunch of skin tickets and stuff like that. I think that's all fair. I think it's great. I want to see Smallgate make more cosmetic stuff and sell it to the players. I am perfectly happy with them making a bunch of cosmetic things and selling it constantly to players. They make money. Players get happy. They get things that they like. I think it's a win-win.
To be clear,
fair-
I liked it as well, but it's just, I mean, there's
Timing.
too many units.
Yeah.
I literally had no Sky Stones.
This guy
so-
gets some free Skystones and he can't get the...
Oh, you
Hey.
can't out us like that, Jenna.
Jenna, have you
Get out
seen
like that.
Lethe? I had a triple S.
Yeah,
well,
but
I
listen,
triple S Luluka.
In your words, a wooga.
I didn't triple S anything, I'm right in the middle between both of you. I hear you out, Car. I didn't want to, but just like Jenazad said, I did want to get Spectre Tenebra skin, so and those skin tickets were helpful.
That helps a lot.
Imagine not having the Stene
Imagine.
skin. That was me That was me before, but now I get to be the one saying, "Imagine not having the Stene skin."
I have it now. You can't kicking a man when he's down. I see how it is.
The pack is great though. I would love to see more things like that. Especially, it's awesome that it's for Skystones. I think no one can complain about that idea. Like, I don't think there's any complaints with the concept of
It's
it.
just the timing. It was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
at the worst
Yeah.
It's
time
the
when
timing.
we had.
It's
You needed Luluka, you needed Lethe. Now we have collab. It was great.
listen. I'll keep going back to it. If Smallgate just tells us stuff that's going to happen in advance and gives us dates,
That's
I think
not gonna
everything.
happen.
Listen,
Yeah, it's not in
I-
their best interest.
I think some stuff. I don't need a fortune teller to give me, the 2024 fiscal year, right? But like even some stuff we've known that episode 5 is going to be releasing with at least 4 chapters now for a while, but haven't really seen head nor tail of it. And I'd love to have some more details. I just love to be informed. That's what it really is.
I do too. I do too.
Same.
What the?
I think we all agree.
Nobody knows.
It's a mystery.
It really is sometimes, So even though you didn't buy the lobby car and you had to make a
I feel like I'm being shamed
tough
for
choice,
not buying it.
did you?
Rough times.
Have you not seen it?
No, it's beautiful. I love it. I valued summoning units more than that, unfortunately.
Cringe.
That's fair.
No.
What
know?
a cringer.
Fair.
I was drawn by the summer units.
But
not resist.
what kind of special lobbies would you like to see in the future?
Hey, this is my time to shine, boys. I've talked about it 30 times. I'll talk about it again. I'll do it right here. There's a perfect event in Smallgate can do. It is very simply specialty change battle or specialty change war, because what do you have? You have multiple specialty change units that work for the Order of the Shield, and then you have multiple specialty change units in the Chaos Sect division, right? And I would love to have one that's like the Chaos Sect versus the Order of the Shield, like crossing guards or like fighting or even skirmishing in
Ooh.
between, having little fights or battles, a little part where I think Crimson Rose and whatchamacallit, Sirmia just like sit down, like, no, we actually like each other. We don't have to fight like them. All those little moments. I'd love to see something like that, because I feel like there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of narrative attention that goes towards that part of the Epic 7 story, and that's me nerding out because everyone's fallen asleep. I'm sorry. That was just my
Okay.
5 minutes.
Real answer: just make high quality ones like the Luluka and the Lethe, but just for more characters. And I'm not changing from Lethe though, unless they make something insane.
What is your background?
Yeah, are you rocking that one? It's so good.
No, I'm not actually. Wait, I just came up with like a random lobby that would be cool. What if it was a lobby that just took random characters, maybe your favorited characters, and it just had an RTA match as your background, and they're just fighting. And it just
Oh.
like, every time you go in there, it just randomly takes 4 characters and puts them on each side or something like that.
It could
Or,
also
like,
be the
firing?
characters from your last RTA match, because that information
Or
is
so,
saved.
yeah, or something.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to get together, Jenna. We'll start cooking, yeah.
Yo, that could be kind of sick. Maybe it would make the game like 40 gigabytes on my
Yeah, I was
phone,
laughing.
but like,
Some people are gonna lag.
True. Okay. Well, just don't make your background be that.
Anyone
yeah,
with a bad
exactly,
phone
exactly.
Or bad PC, don't make that your background.
And, you know, in our podcast streams, we do like to give away a little bit of Sky Stones. I know we were just talking about it. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving away 150 Sky Stones for 3 players in chat. Okay, both YouTube and Twitch. Last time, I believe we went with 2 YouTube and 1 Twitch. So this time, to be fair, we're going to go 2 Twitch, 1 YouTube. Car is going to be choosing the person from YouTube. Divine and Jenna get to choose from Twitch. And what we're going to do is they will tell you, you know, what it will take to get the 150 Sky Stones. And then what you have to do if you are chosen is you have to message me on Discord. You can find my Discord on the official Discord server. Message me your IGN and your server. Got that? Pretty simple. Okay, so you know, we'll start with Jenna. Jenna, you can start. Tell chat what they need to say, what they need to do to get those 150 Sky Stones.
The first person to say I love car_6.
You still went with it. No one type it. You don't need Sky Stones that bad, guys. Don't sell
nobody
out.
loves them, I guess.
Don't
Oh,
sell out.
whoa,
Oh,
that
man,
was
we
so
got
fast.
There
Okay.
it is. There it is.
Who is it?
Jenna, did you spot the first one? It was
I think
fast.
it's feeling fresh there because it was car_6.
Oh, yeah, he-
Oh,
That's what I
feeling
said.
fresh.
I did say
My
that.
man.
Feelin,
my man.
FEELINFRESH_. Okay.
Look how much they love you, Car.
Yeah, I see that.
They're
They
a fan
love him.
favorite.
They really love him.
Yeah, they really
I
love
see
him.
it, guys. I'm so touched.
Okay, you know what? While we're already on Twitch and everyone has their hands ready, Divine, let them know what they have, what they gotta do to get them 150 Sky Stones.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I've been cooking. I've been thinking about this one for a while. Thank you, Car, for the inspiration for this. All right, everybody in chat. Me and my partner, Valk, as you know, run our own little tournament series for Epic 7 tournaments. If anyone can tell me the name of that tournament series, first one to do so gets it. Just type in the name.
Go Google it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Biako, you tried, but that's the name of that's the sub name of the next tournament.
Who?
I'm still
did
waiting.
did,
People are trying. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's Furry Tony, right?
It's furry. God.
What?
They figured it out. I'm looking. It's 3 words, guys. You're so close. Oh, there we go. It's Poots.
Tough.
It's Poots.
Who?
I'm looking it out. It's Rush Hour Royale. It's the Rush Hour Royale tournament series. Yeah.
Let's go, Pooh.
People are typing in draft mode or something in Draft City.
I love
And
the
only
rush
Rush
hour.
Hour. Listen, I gotta be.
The rush hour is great.
Wait, can you spell it out? I'm not seeing it on on
Poot
chat.
said it. Poot said it in chat. Rush Hour Royale. It's up there. I'm just looking at it right now. Did I take a screenshot?
Oh, okay, there we go. Poots
Oh,
Z8.
Poots 8. Poots Z8. Yeah. There you go. Hey, listen. It's my intelligence. I
Eagle
learned
eyes.
from Carr. He was just like, you gotta learn how to advertise better. You gotta be a better streamer. That's me.
Man,
Okay.
just saying stuff today.
So last, certainly not least though, we have YouTube chat. YouTube chat, get them fingers
Get ready.
because Car is about to tell you what you
Who
need to
loves
write.
Jenna? Just kidding, guys. We'll keep it simple. I do the same thing every time. Just type, first person to type Buff Luna gets the Sky Stones.
This is the flag of my people.
Type Buff Luna. YouTube chat. Oh, we got one already, Luka. That was fast. It's from
Bernotto.
Bernotto. YouTube. Now I see y'all. You guys were all lurking, man. It was quiet in there.
What? They
Now
were
it's
coming
popping
out.
Yeah. No, they're there. They're there.
Sky Stones.
Okay.
Sky Stones.
Bernotto.
We have our 3 people. We have Feeling Fresh, we have Poods, and we have Bernotto. Remember, please message me on Discord your IGN and your server to get those 150 Sky Stones. Okay? Message me on Discord. If not, then you're missing out on 150 Sky Stones. What can I tell you? So, that is, kind of the end of the stream for today. But before we leave, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell the chat one more time, who you are, where they can find you. Let's start with Divine.
Yep, that's me, everybody. That was the show, and I thank you for having me here. Thank you for letting me be with Car 6 and Jenazad, two of the most epic casters I've had the pleasure of being with. You can catch me on Divineshadow 777 almost sometimes. Molly Moves On there is the Instagram handle of the game I'm making. But of course, check out the Rush Hour Royale tournament series that me and Valky are hosting. We've got money that you can win. It's going to be in a draft mode format, and most of all, it's a great community with some good feels. So stop on by anytime you feel.
I guess I'll go next. Thanks a bunch for having me on as always. And well, I stream every single day, and there's my YouTube right up there. Good old Jenazad P. Unfortunately, has the P at the end, but too
Get that
late.
P out of there.
But anyways, yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always good to be here. I love talking about the game, and thanks.
Yeah, same here, guys. Always an honor. Thank you so much for having me. This was the best cast, like Luka said at the start. Chat, you guys were amazing. I know there's a lot of problems with E7 right now, but I unironically love this game, so I want it to succeed. And hopefully all this stuff, we love this game, so hopefully a lot of this stuff we talked about today will come to fruition. Hopium.
Yeah. Also, the OGs know the Jenazad with the P. Just saying. OGs know.
That's your question next time. Type your name. Let it trip people up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything we have for this week. Next week, we will be having Orvis Overdrive, so I will see you then. It's your friendly neighbor, Luka, and we'll see you. Bye. Make sure to fill out the survey for 3 leads and 300k gold, okay? Bye.